Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Joseph Lahiff, and you are watching the Entrepreneur's Starter Kit. I'm starting today with fantastic customers and where to find them. We're talking about doing some market research and figuring out where your people are, who are your customers, and what do they care about. Because if your product doesn't match what they care about, you won't sell it. And I can tell you this from experience. So I was passionate about selling one particular kind of coaching, excited about it. I knew people needed it, and I still know people need this. But when I did the research and when I tried for so long, I found that they didn't really want it. And if your customer needs something but they don't want it, they won't buy it. That's it. So pivot time to look at what they do want and what do you have and what can you still benefit them that market, or maybe it's a different market from. So that's the idea. So we need to get to know our customers before we start making a bunch of products. When I talked in the section about being iterative and incremental, you should be doing this as well as that, right? So you're not producing a big old thing, you're producing something quick and easy and get some feedback on it, so you're not banging your head against a wall. I don't want you to bang your head against a wall and not have success. Neither do you. So let's move on. All right. First thing, a persona. We want to create a persona or an avatar of your customer. And the way I like to do it, I like to document it in some kind of sheet. I don't make them fancy like this. If you go out and Google persona card UX, because people use them often in user experience work, and you'll get a bunch of these pictures. These are just some random ones I grabbed off the internet. But basically, they give you a picture, a fake name of somebody. Here's Diane Rowe. That's not a real person. That's a fake name that they gave this person. And I want my kids to be happy and safe, right? So just a little quote, some kind of quote. You can see all of these have something like that. Here, this one says, a short quote that gives quick idea of what I'm interested in. So that's what is there. Look, this template one has quote. Put a quote here. What's the person's name? What's a brief descriptor? What type of person is it? Describe their most prominent demeanor, something like that. I can't read what all these are, but basically it's giving you data about who it is you're trying to develop your product or service for. And you may have multiples of this, right? So up here you have multiple different types of people who are going to use your product or service. You need to identify them and differentiate between them, because your marketing messages will be different for different audiences. Even though they'll buy the same service, the reasons they buy will be different. And then therefore what influences them to buy will be different. So a little bit of gathering data. So on that card, you want to have two types of data. You want to have demographic data and psychographic data. So demographic data is the stuff just about them. Are they married? Do they have kids? What's their gender? What's their occupation? Just the black and white observable stuff you can tell about the person. It's just like this is the stuff that would be collected by the US Census Bureau or something like that, right? That's the demographic information. Where do they live? What's their zip code? How many kids in their family? Blah, 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 blah. That stuff. Psychographic data. So that's very important, because that'll help you targeting people in your marketing, both in defining an audience. If you're doing like Facebook advertising, you can define demographic data really tightly, and as well as just your imagery and your message and things like that may be different for different demographics. Psychographic data is important too. It's probably more important. This is the person's goals. What are their dreams? What are the things that they identify with? What kind of person are you talking to or about? What are the challenges they deal with? What are your benefits to the product or service you have? What are your benefits to that particular type of person? And this was a great one that I learned. What's the benefit of your benefit? So if the benefit of having a coach is that you get to where you're going faster, right? You achieve your goals more quickly. The benefit of that benefit is you're then able to have achieved those goals and then have what you don't want the goal usually, you want the result of the goal, right? So you want to have free time. You want to have place freedom or time freedom or customer freedom. I can work with who I want to. You want some kind of freedom when you're being an entrepreneur, right? That's your goal, right? So the benefit that you get from working with a coach is clarity and consistency and understanding of where you're going and confidence. The benefit of that benefit is you reach your goal faster and are able to have that time freedom, place freedom, blah, blah, blah. So identify what the benefit of the benefit is that your customer is looking for. What do they want your product or service for? Not what it can do, but then what's the benefit of what it can do to them? Got that idea? Okay, beat that horse. Next, you want to learn about where they live, not physically, that's demographic data, but where do they hang out? What are the services they use? What are the books they read? What are the Facebook groups where they hang out? Are they on LinkedIn? Do they hang out in groups? Do they use Reddit and do they hang out there, or Quora or Medium or Twitter? What are their favorite blogs, popular blogs with this type of person? Are there magazines for your demographic, psychographic person? You can use Google's word search volume tool. I'm not going to teach you how to do that in this course, but there's a tool that Google has that you can search based on some keywords. Then you can see what are similar keywords. Google will do the smart things and use artificial intelligence to machine learning to show you similar words and their associated volume of searches per day. Pretty cool data. Like, you can geek out in there for a long time. Be careful. Don't get lost in there. Are they? Well, look, I have magazines twice. Do they have 2 magazines? Who are the experts or gurus or influencers in that market? Who do they listen to? What are the courses that they take? Are there courses already being taught in the industry? Do they watch particular types of TV shows? Is that a piece for them? YouTube. Do they have particular YouTube channels that they watch? And I don't want you to just think about this. You need to write this down. Write down the top 5 or 10 items from each of these groups, right? If they can be identified by a book, which almost everybody has an book interest, so there's a book about whatever you're talking about out there. Find that book, find that series of books, find those that on Amazon, and write the top 5 down. What are the top 5 books right now in your industry? What are the top 5 Facebook groups? What are the top 5 YouTube channels? Who are the top bloggers, or who are the top influencers on Instagram or Pinterest or Twitter? And put their information in your avatar research worksheet. You see it right here, avatar research worksheet. So you want to be able to come back to these things later. So get the connection. So it's either the URL or the magazine name or whatever, so that you can come back to it later when you're doing your detailed research. This is just your high level get to know these people and figure out where they live information. So once you've gathered that, and that'll take you a while, it takes a little bit to gather this data, and you feel comfortable that you've got a good sense of where they hang out, then you need to understand that people make their decisions on emotion, and then they justify them on logic. So this is just a basic principle of marketing, that you can have the most logical marketing in the world, but if it doesn't connect with your customer emotionally, you won't sell. So we need to understand what emotionally drives these people. So we're layering on top, right? In this one back here, we talked about their dreams and identifiers and challenges. What are the benefits of your benefits? What are their goals? Those are emotional kinds of things. Right here, we found all the places that they live. Now what we want to do is we want to go in there, and on those pages, in those books, in the book reviews even, you want to go in, and actually book reviews are a great place to find this information. Look for keywords or phrases that identify the goals, aspirations, frustrations, and fears of your target market. So they like this book. So go through all of the reviews and look at the positive and negative reviews. See what do they list as, what are they responding like, and what are the positive words they use? What are the goal-oriented words that they use? Aspirational words that they use? What are the fear words that if they're like in a negative review, they'll probably have fear and frustration words in there. Write those down because you want to be able to respond with the exact words and phrases that your customers use in their words and phrases when they're talking. Then they'll feel like, oh, you're like me. It's mirroring. This is a psychological technique. And when you're working with like a used car salesman, they'll, try and mirror you by sitting in the same way you sit and acting the same way you act, which can be annoying. But this is another way of mirroring without being annoying. It's just trying to communicate as clearly as you can to them in their own language. If you're speaking French and they speak Chinese, you're not going to be able to communicate. You need to communicate in the same language that they communicate in. All right, so you're going to go out and do this research. This will take you a while too, because you're just going to keep culling through all of those different resources and looking for phrases and looking for words, and you'll probably find you find more of one group than another. So keep working and find more goal words or find more aspiration words, but keep going until you've got a good number of them. I can't tell you what a good number is, but you're going to have to be writing. Copy. That's the words on the page for your sales page or for a video sales letter, or when you're talking to them in a sales call or marketing information. You want to use those words. So you need to have enough that you're just not repeating the same 3 words over and over again. All right. Your next actions: go create a persona sheet. I don't care. Go grab one from the internet or just make a piece of paper into it. Get a picture from the internet of somebody who looks like this person that you're trying to shoot for. Give them a name. Start writing down their demographic data. Start figuring out what their psychographic data is. Make the lists of where they hang out. What are they doing? Who are they listening to? And then dive in and find those key emotional words. Once you've got all of that, then you're able to start looking at your marketing messages and looking at your sales copy and looking at your sales messaging and understanding how your customer thinks, feels, and believes. All right. This has been Joseph Lahiff. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon.